preserved my youth. Not only did it capture my goals, it told me the truth.
Conversate for a few, cause it a few.
I let them know we missing you. The love is unconditional.
Wave your hands, what's the land if we family?
We got a world premiere right here, now get lost.
So off we go, let the trumpets blow. And hold on, because the driver of the mission is a pro.
All right, you in tune to another episode of Conversate with Us. Remember, Conversate stands for communicate, converse, and relate. Make sure you go to our YouTube, click that bell icon so you can be notified of upcoming episodes. And then also go to our Facebook and our Instagram, Conversate with Us. Follow us and make sure you tell a friend. So we're almost at the halfway point of the year. At the beginning of the year, we had a special guest on to talk about setting goals and how to make sure that you are the best that you could be in 2026. So we're going to bring back our favorite life coach, Tiffany Moore to Wellness, back to the show. Tiffany, where you at?
Hello,
Hi, how you
I'm
doing?
here.
You're here. So, question for the life coach. Did you set goals for 2026?
I did. I
And
set some goals in January, and then another goal popped up in March that I was totally unexpected. So,
okay. And how have you been doing in terms of progressing towards those goals, accomplishing those goals?
so the one in January, I've been doing well. Of course, there's always distractions, but discipline has got me through. The one in March, we're on track. We're on track.
So,
So.
how do you handle distractions?
That's a good one. So you have to decide, right? So one of the things, what is the distraction, right? Is it a person? Is it things? Is it, and I probably said in the episode before, your goals will come with no's. So some of my distractions have been people. So what I've had to do was very limit the time that I talk to people, the time that I hang out. What is it? Is what I'm doing today helping me get closer to my goal? Is there support that's coming with it? If the answer is no, I can't do it. So, um, has it hurt some people? Yes. Are some people's feelings like you don't do this, you can't, you ain't? Yep, I can't. But that comes with the territory.
So, is there a way to get balanced though with that to where you could still interact, maybe have fun with your people and still be productive towards accomplishing your goals?
Yes, there is. You have to set time limits, right? So, can I sit on the phone and talk to a friend for 3 hours? No, I can't do that, right? Can I go out and enjoy a dinner and socialize for 2 hours? Yes, because I'm now setting that boundary and a balance of accomplishing two things at one time. I'm eating and socializing, right? So I can't just sit and not and just talk. What are we talking about? What do we have going on? Is this helping me get to where I need to go? Again, if the answer is no, no.
I got you. So I set a bunch of goals for myself at the beginning of the year. And I tend to do this every year and I break it down into categories. So I set like my money goals, I set travel goals, personal and business, right? And I learned in the past that I had like 20 goals that I wanted to achieve. And I'm a pretty disciplined, efficient person on a day-to-day basis. Like I work off my to-do list and I get stuff done. But I noticed that I was putting too much on my to-do list. So I tried to whittle it down to like 3 things per category. And I look at it every now and again, and it's halfway through the year, and I haven't checked off one thing. But I'm progressing towards knocking those off the bucket list, right? Or knocking them off the goals list, I should say. So, how do you encourage people to be realistic about the number of goals they're setting and what type of goals they're setting?
First, you just have to know what your strengths are, right? So I've seen you, I know what you do. Like not everything that you do, but from a distance, I'm like, dang, he's got his hand on a whole bunch of stuff, right? So what is he not doing? Right. So you're not sitting in front of the TV, obviously. You're not, yeah. So there's things that you're not doing that you're able to get some of the goals done. The first thing I tell people is don't beat yourself up, right? And here we are, it's the beginning of June. This is a great time to reevaluate your goals. So remember, progress isn't always visible,
Mhm.
and you have to remind yourself. The other thing that I try to tell people is celebrate your small victories. It doesn't have to be the final. If your goal, because we always like to use weight when it comes to goal, right? So if your goal was to lose 20 pounds by July 1st, because that's the halfway mark, right? And let's say you got 15 and we're a month away. Did you celebrate? So I try to encourage people to celebrate after every 5 pounds, because that's an accomplishment, right? 5 pounds is an accomplishment. So if you're just aiming for that 20, you're going to lose the motivation. You're going to be like, it's just dread. So make sure that your goals know your strengths, and then make sure you're not putting yourself into burnout, because people burn out.
Man, when it comes to that, when it comes to that weight thing, I always give better advice than I receive. So I always tell people like, hey, look, man, don't look at the scale. Are you taking up less space? That's really what matters. How are your clothes fitting? And then here I am, and I say, okay, yeah, you know what? I haven't been able to wear this shirt in like 3 years, and oh, I could finally, wear this blazer and actually button it up, you know.
Mhm.
But then you'll get on the scale, and then you'll be like, damn, dude, I need to get my stuff together. So you're right. You definitely have to be kind to yourself and give yourself some grace, for sure.
Oh,
Sure.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Great. Great. It's always easier for us to give grace to other people, but we're going to be our worst critic. We're going to dog ourselves out. Instead of what we give to other people, we give back to us. I'm a huge advocate on self-love, right? And that's one of the major things that I try to push is loving yourself. The love that you try to give to other people, give it to yourself first,
Yeah.
and that's part of it. So,
And for me, not to turn this into a therapy session, but for me, there's always that balance to where you have accountability, you're holding yourself accountable, but you're also being kind and giving yourself grace. If you just like, well, I'll just get to it some other time, you'll never get to it. But if you like, no, what are you going to do? And, being accountable to yourself, that's how you make progress. The problem comes in is when you're too harsh and then you start saying negative things to yourself. That's always going to be a problem. And I always know that, I probably need to go see my therapist when I start being too negative about myself. Because it's like, okay, would I want to be my friend if I how I treat myself? Most times it's good, but then sometimes it's like, nah, bro, you a terrible friend by how you treat yourself. So,
mhm.
that's just something that I personally work on to make sure that I'm being accountable, but still giving myself some grace.
Absolutely. So one of the things I'm big on is self-affirmations, right? Talking to yourself positively. Sometimes it's hard. I keep stickies on my desk, right?
Mhm.
And I write them. I have a couple of stickies in the mirror. And I have when I'm brushing my teeth, I'm repeating positive affirmations, because when you start hearing it, you believe it. You start believing it, you start doing it. And so you have to I mean, we're going to beat ourselves up. The world is going to do it for us. We don't need to do it too. So
100%.
always encourage yourself. If there's people in your life that can pour into you, always accept it, right? One of the things I try to do is send out positive text messages to people throughout the day, because we don't know what someone is going through and what they need to hear. And if they hear it from someone else, that might be just the small encouragement to keep going. I like that when you said, you can check stuff off, you can plan it out. I'm huge on planners. So when we talked about how do we do the balance, I schedule when I'm working on my goals, when I'm going to socialize, what am I going to do? I even have to schedule my workouts. If I don't schedule it, it's not happening.
Yeah.
So you have to schedule it.
I joined a new gym, black owned gym. Shout out to Mint Fitness. They got two locations here in Dallas. And you have to schedule your workout appointment. And that does help you, stay focused, stay on task, because if you miss that appointment, there's a fee. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, look, I'll try to hit these financial goals. I can't be giving y'all my little $10. I'm already paying my monthly fee, right?
Mhm.
And it does so much more to your point, being on point, having a schedule. Now I use my iPhone, because we don't do droids over here. But
Hey, hey, hey.
that's how I go.
I actually have a real planner. I'm a paper person, so I like to see it.
Yeah, I get you on that, but I tell people all the time, my penmanship is horrible. I can type fast, but my penmanship is horrible. So if I can just put it in the phone, that actually, and what I find is, even when I'm on the plane, because I travel a lot for work and for other projects that I have going on, when I'm in the air, I'm super productive. Sending out text messages, sending out emails, doing expense reports. What can I do to knock something off my to-do list? So that way, when I land, I come home, I can just relax. I can just chill. And to
Mhm.
your point about positive affirmations, I don't watch a lot of TV, but I listen to certain podcasts. And there's certain podcasts that I've noticed when they're playing in the background, I'm super efficient. So the Earn Your Leisure guys, shout out to them. I listen to their podcast. They talk about money and finance and all that stuff. And I started noticing that whenever I listen to that show, I'm just boom, 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 knocking stuff out. So, that's another trick that I learned to make myself more efficient. Some people is music. When it's music, I start dancing and singing and I'm distracted, right? Back to those distractions. But those are one of those things. But I bring that up to say there was a guy on the episode I was watching today, and he said, I am the master of manifestation. And I'm like a Baptist preacher. I said, I'm stealing that. I'm stealing that. I'm the
Did
master
he give you
of
three
manifestation.
points?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm the master of manifestation, so I really like that. So listen, you had gave us some tips earlier this year about how to set goals, how to be productive, how to be successful. And there's probably maybe some people who are watching who are like, man, listen, I've been BSing. I haven't done what I'm supposed to do. Maybe I'll just start next year. But we don't want them to start next year because we still got half the year, right? They can accomplish
Yes.
something. So can
Yes.
you give us some tips
Yes.
to get back on track?
Absolutely. And we're not starting next year. Every day is a new day to start, right?
Right.
And so if you didn't do it January 1st, you didn't do it January 15th, February, it doesn't matter. You can start tomorrow. It does not matter.
Right.
So my first tip for people who set goals in January or whenever they set them and they may not be where they're at, the first thing is do a reality check. Do a reality check. And that just means, are those goals still important to you in January that they are today? So we're going to reevaluate those. Why did they matter in January? And do they still matter today? And if so, why aren't we doing anything? So that's the first tip is let's do a reality check because a lot of times people make goals based on what other people tell them or what they think looks good. Um, I'm getting ready to bring social media in. It's something that we love and we use it. Like this is going to be on social media, right? So there are good things about media. Social media, one of the biggest problems is the comparison. So
Yeah.
people are probably looking at other people going, oh, I want to do that. But again, social media only shows us our highlight reels and
Yeah.
they don't show the work that it takes.
Mhm.
I'm actually talking to myself right now. It doesn't show the work that it takes to actually accomplish certain goals. So do a reality check. Is this something that you really want? Why do you want it?
Yeah.
And is it still important to you?
And
Because we
make
can
sure
always pivot.
and make sure you're not just copping out and being lazy, but yeah, you could do that.
Well,
And
that's point number two. That's point number two.
see, I listen, I threw it off the backboard for you. Go ahead.
Hey, so point number two is what's really going on, right? Is it the burnout? Is it the laziness, right? What is causing this to happen? Um, the brother and sister, perfectionism and procrastination, they go hand in hand, right? And so is this where you're stuck? A lot of people get stuck. They don't know what to do. They don't know. They like, ooh, I know I can do this because they always look at the finish line and they can do it. It's the process that people have a problem with. The process is grueling. The process is draining. The process will have you second guessing yourself. The process is hard work. I actually thrive in the process. So for me, I thrive in process. When I finally get the goal, I'm like, oh, I did it. And there's no more chase to it. I love the chase. So once I get it, I'm like, oh, okay, I did it. What's next? Um, that's not
That
good.
that
But
that that's me. That's me 100%. I, I've done some things in my life, and people will say, "Man, you did this. You made a movie. You made a full documentary. You wrote a book." And I'm just like, okay, And
mhm,
I'm thankful that people are appreciative of the things that I do. I'm thankful that they root for me. Um, so I don't want to come off as dismissive or ungrateful,
mhm,
but like you, it's about the chase, the chase. And once it's done, okay, what's next?
mhm. Yeah,
What's next?
absolutely.
And I'll say this. Um, I had a manager, and I think I've said this on this show or some of my other shows, but I had a manager, and this guy and I were friends, and you would not think that we were friends. He was 6'6", big white dude, former lineman from Utah, Fox News Republican. Um, couldn't stand Barack Obama, and we would argue all the time. But we had things that were in common, like we both loved our families. We could laugh and we could joke. And there's one bit of advice that he gave me, and I'm gonna let you get back on task, but I got to share this.
No, no, no.
He said, "Never let the pursuit of perfection get in the way of progress." And I apply that to everything that I do. I didn't know what I was doing when I made a documentary. I knew the quality that I wanted to be. I knew the standard that I wanted it to be. But I just did it. And to your point, there's so many people that get into this paralysis of analysis, and then they get stuck and they don't do anything. So
Yep.
what if you failed? So what if you mess up? You did something. There's so many people that didn't do anything because they didn't want to be critiqued, or they didn't want to look silly, or they didn't want to be like, oh, I messed up. Oh, this didn't work out. So what? You did something. You had the courage and the faith in yourself to do it. So just do it. So don't let the pursuit of perfection get in the way of progress. So, all right, I'm not the expert. You are. So
No, no,
let you get back to
that
number three.
everybody can be an expert at some point. But no, one of the things, and I love that because I'm always it's the growth mindset, right? And so I'm always trying to do something different. I'm always trying to strive, whether it's a class I'm taking, a seminar I'm attending, there's always something that I'm doing. And I one of my biggest goals and COVID, I was like, I am not coming out of COVID the same way that I went in. I refuse to do that. And so when people were like, I'm bored. I was finishing my bachelor's degree. I was getting another certification in life coaching I went from life coaching into the wellness part of it too. And so I just refused to to come out of COVID the same way. People were like, what else is there to binge watch, right? My grandma used to call it the idiot box. We spend so much time watching um, the TV and it doesn't do anything for us, right? Pick a book up, do something different. So I'm totally with you on that one. But going back to point number three, questions that you have to ask yourself, right? I have it. What are you overwhelmed or undercommitted?
Mm.
That undercommitted part, are you disciplined? So again, we talk about the weight loss because that's just the easy one to pinpoint. Um, so when people say I'm not motivated, you know what? I'm not motivated to get up and come to work every day either. I'm really not. I'm disciplined to get up and come to work every day. I'm disciplined to set my alarm clock at 4:45 in the morning and go to the gym because I know once my day is over, that is the last thing that I'm doing. So, are you overwhelmed with the goals? You said you had all these goals at the beginning of the year and you broke them down into your categories. Was it overwhelming for you?
Not for
Or
me.
were you just not, or were you just not committed, right? So, but not just for you, but those are questions that we have to ask. One of the biggest, and what story are you telling yourself? So for me, and I'm still working with it, right, is imposter syndrome.
Mm.
Am I who I say I am? Am I as accomplished? Do I downplay the accomplishments? Um, And that's hard. That is hard. Are people going to think she don't know what she's doing? What is she? That's okay. I let my work speak for myself. But that's the internal talk that I have with myself. And that's the part where my brother told me, he said, you need audacity. I thought I had audacity, but then from somebody who I look up to tell me I need more audacity. All right, let's go. Now it's my word on my mirror, audacity. And I saw a quote, let's have the audacity of a mediocre white man.
Boy, because they sure have it. They sure have it,
They
especially in
do.
America. They got
They
it. They have it in
do.
abundance. They have it in abundance.
Yeah,
Them and kids. Kids have the audacity to add. You like, dude, if you just don't get up out my face. But I would add one thing too, though. I think you have to have not just good accountability partners, because I heard somebody say on that podcast again that they had like an accountability group where they would present their goals, and then the group will hold each other accountable. But I think you have to have people that speak life into you and uplift you, because I've noticed that when I talk to people who are like me and have different projects that they're always working on, inevitably, unless you just hit it big, right, you're going to ask yourself, why am I even doing this? Does it even matter? Do people even care? And I found whenever I get into that mode, I will talk to somebody and they'll be like, what? You smoking crack? You do this, you do that. And they'll just, breathe that life into me. And I've done that to other people as well. And they're like, man, you didn't know how much I needed that today. So that's one thing I would add too, the
that's
circle.
point number five. That's point number five.
Okay, my bad, my bad. Let me be quiet.
No,
Let me
no,
be
no. It's
the
good though. It's
damn.
good. But I just want to piggyback on that is your circle, right? Your circle is so important. When you're with people who have like mind, um, the conversations are completely different. Completely different. I try to surround myself around people who are better than me because I'm now going to be a sponge and I'm going to soak in whatever knowledge they may have. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to probe. I'm going to do because one, I'm learning. The other, it's motivating for me. And then when you tell them, because we hear all the time, keep your goals to yourself. Don't tell somebody you're next. No, be selective in who you're telling. If I was to tell you a goal, I know you're going to hold me accountable. You're going to say, where are you at with this? Right. And so when you surround yourself with like minded people, them conversations change, the accountability change, the supports change. Um, and it's going to open up the doors for other things to happen, positive things to happen. They're going to introduce you to people and opportunities. And so we have to be very careful um, in who we're choosing to spend our time with. So you're right on target with that.
Okay, so that was five. Was number four?
No, that was number three. Number four, I was piggybacking off of the what you just said, but growth check. What progress have you made so far? Right? Again, just we talked about it before and celebrating those small victories. Um, Progress doesn't always show big. Like you said, we can sit here and talk about I need to lose weight, the scale's not moving, but I need a belt. Um, People say to you, "Oh, I can tell you lost weight," right? Let's celebrate that. We have to celebrate our small wins. Whatever that looks like to you, you get to create, you get to say what your small wins are. So celebrate those small wins. Whatever it is for you, celebrate it. And it doesn't have to be anything big. It does not have, if it means taking yourself to dinner, take yourself to dinner. If it means I'm going to go buy a new shirt, go buy a new shirt. Whatever it is, celebrate it. Whatever, however you want.
I read Shonda Rhimes. I read her book years ago, and she talked about how like when people would give her compliments, she would downplay them, or she would work to um, invalidate the compliment that the person was giving them. So if they said, "Hey man, you're losing weight," not really, the scale's not moving, whatever. Or hey, you did this, and then you come like, "Oh, not, yeah, but yeah, I did that, but I got all this other stuff going on." And what you're doing is basically invalidating what they're saying. You're disrespecting the compliment that they're giving you, and the thought that they are trying to, the positivity they're trying to pour into you. So she said, if you have a problem with that, just say thank you.
Yep.
And move on. And
Yep.
I always tell that to people when I give them a compliment and they start doing that stuff. And again, I'm good at giving advice, but here recently I've been falling off on it. But whenever they start doing that, I just, hey, just say thank you. And then I laugh and then like, you're right. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm getting better with it. I'm totally, one is I don't like the attention, right? And to me, that's bringing attention to myself. So I don't like it. But I have to be able to accept it, you
Yeah.
know. But another question that you should ask yourself in the growth check is what lessons have you learned so far? Because we're always going to learn whether we're doing something positive or we did not accomplish so much. Why? What is it? Was there a bump in the road and you just stopped?
Mhm.
Ooh, let's learn from it. Let's pivot, let's be flexible and keep going. Point number 5 is reconnect to your why. Why did you set that goal in the first place? I remember someone had spoken to me in 2017 and said, "You need to write a book." And I was like, "I'm not writing a book." The follow-up question is, you have information that people need. They're waiting on you. Oh, wait. When I tell you that was a gut punch to me, it was their why. I never saw it as my why. Um, that was 2017. It's now 2026, 9 years later, and that why is now becoming my why. Not so much writing the book, but the information that I have will be available to other people very soon. That's the goal that came
I,
out in March.
I, I,
So
I like the teas. I like the soft teas. I like it. I like it.
little drop there, little drop there.
I
Yeah,
like
but
it.
just reconnect with your why. Why are you doing this? Is it something that you've always wanted to do? Or are you doing it again because you saw it looked easy on social media? Or you're like, oh, I could do this. Just because you could do it doesn't mean that it's your why to do.
Yeah,
So
that makes
that's
sense. Because I
that's
have a friend, mutual friend of ours, the one that lives in Panama. Her story is so dope. And I'm like, you need to write a book. She's like, I don't want to write a book. I was like, nah, man, like you need to write, people can be inspired. And she was just like, I don't want to write a book. And I keep pushing her to do it. And finally, because she could be a bully, she said, look, I don't want to do it. Stop. And I'm like, okay, I'll
mhm,
let it be.
mhm,
Maybe she'll decide it
mhm,
because I think it would be dope. But yeah,
mhm.
it does have
And
to be a why.
and it might not be her why today, right? It might be her why later. I tell people all the time, the life that I have today is not because of the prayers that I have prayed. It's the prayers that my grandparents and my parents have
Boy,
prayed is where I'm at today. So it's not necessarily for me today, but it was because of what somebody else had poured into me from generation to generation. You know, people say I am my ancestors' wildest dream. Yes, I am. I
mhm.
really am. When I think back to, my grandparents and what they went through and where I'm at today, how dare I? right? How dare I not live out a dream that either is my why or maybe they have prayed for me. I don't know. It just came to me and I'm like, I guess I'll do it, right? But now I have the audacity. I have the want to do it. In 2017, it just was not my time. It was not, I was not in a good place to be able to write the book. It would have been a vent session and be like, who wants to read this book? Now I can come from a place of a healed place and a place of giving knowledge, a place of making it that somebody wants to hear from me, right? And so reconnect with your why.
Understood. Okay. You got one more for
I
us?
got one more.
Okay.
Reset, don't quit.
Okay.
Reset, don't quit. So, what are some steps that you can take by the end of this week? Just one step. Because what happens is you build momentum. So if you do something today, you get started, the snowball effect, and then you're like, oh, and then you do one more thing, and you're like, oh, and then one more thing. Make those little steps count. We always want to do the big steps. Make those little steps count. So be okay with the pivot. Be okay with even if you need to take a break. I tell people all the time, it's okay to take a break. Just don't stop. But don't let your break be 6 months.
That's it, right? That's
Don't
it.
let the break.
Yeah, they'd be like, man, I mean, I'm just on a little break. How long you been on a break? 2 years. What? It sounds like you quit. So, Tiffany, tell us what you got going on. Tell people how they can reach you.
All right. You can reach me at More to Wellness, MOORETO Wellness, WELLNESS.com. I am working on a project that will come out at the end of the month, June 29th. I'll hold the date. So coming soon, June 29th. Soft tease. I'm not giving any information on it right now. I will be doing a 1 week build up to the date. The date is special. It is my mother's birthday. So, and
That's
this, what I'm doing is a tribute to her. So
that's dope. That's
stay
dope.
tuned.
Okay, well, we'll definitely promote it on our end. I appreciate you coming on the show. Hopefully, people can take the tips that you gave them and apply it so that they can, be more productive in accomplishing their goals and just being nicer to themselves, give themselves more
Absolutely.
grace. Take it step by step. Get those people around you that's going to breathe life into you and encourage you. And the year's only halfway done. There's still a lot of time for you to get something accomplished to make yourself more happy with yourself. So, that being
Absolutely.
said, make sure you go to our YouTube, click that bell icon, go to our Instagram, go to our Facebook, conversate with us. And again, for you educated Negroes, conversate is a word. It stands for communicate, converse, and relate. We will holler at you next time. Peace.
Bye bye.